Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is video number 5, and basically I'm going to try and take a look at some things today. Um, excuse me. So we've got the contact page set up, and what I did was I created a template file which includes the session start and the check to see if the user is logged in, which is standard. That basically is just calling our core.init file. Here, which includes our database connection information and our tokens. All right. Um, And then we also have our doc type and our head, which includes all of the script calls and the CSS calls. Now, one of the things that I forgot about was the active class. So if you go to the home page, you see that you get a gray box around it. If you go to the contact page, you get a contact around there. That's an additional step that if you're using a excuse me, a nav include file, um, you're always going to have one set to active. Okay, and that's usually the index page, or actually you don't even have to have any of them. You can just add it based on the page. But since it started this way, I figured the easiest way to follow up would be to, on each individual page, we'll put a little jQuery call at the end, and we'll remove the active class from the index file, and then we'll add it to whatever page we're on. Okay, so I added that to the template file as well. So we have down here. So basically, if we were to excuse me, so we need the About Us page. All right, and if we look at the nav, the About, actually we don't have an ID yet. So what we're doing is just setting a simple ID for this. About. Save that out. And so what we're going to do is we'll save this file as about.php. Make sure that's what we're linking to. Yep, about.php. All right. And now instead of contact, we'll change this to about, which will target the about ID, which is this one we just set. And so now if we save and refresh, we should get to and we go to the About Us page. That should take the active class. There we go. So again, we could just do this with one call. I mean, it's not really that, you're only calling it twice. It's not that big a deal. But essentially, you could just strip the active class off the index file in there. Why don't we do that? We'll save that, and then on the index, we will put that call there, and we'll put it on index. All right, and we'll strip that. Strip that, and we'll also bring up the template. Excuse me. We'll strip that out of there. So now we just have one call. We're just adding the class to what is missing. All right. And now if we refresh, we should be able to test this. Okay, the About is working. Homepage is working. Contact us. There we go. So that's the better way of doing that. All right. Excuse me. So what I've also done is I've loaded up, if you've seen me use the secure image and CAPTCHA and also the SwiftMailer, there's some, if you haven't seen those, there are a couple of those videos on my on the channel that walk you through using SwiftMailer as a SMTP relay, which is what we're doing. Most websites, or I'm sorry, most servers will have a maximum number of SMTP relays outbound using the local sendmail. And basically, if you're gonna have a busy site, you're gonna want to have an external source. Now, the other part to that is basically if you have if you send it from sendmail, it's also going to be non-encrypted. If you use an encrypted SMTP relay, if it's at all sensitive, it's perhaps a medical or an index or a legal site, you want that packet encrypted. So in this case, we're using Gmail. All right. Or actually, I think I have it configured for Outlook. But anyways, well, where are we at? Yeah, we're using Outlook. But so we're using TLS instead of SSL encryption. Gmail works a lot better with using 465 and SSL encryption. Not really much of a difference, I don't think, unless you're trying to be ultra secure, and then you would be into another class of email. All right, and so basically what we're going to do here is our form is going to direct to this file. All right, and so on our contact page, we're going to be developing our form here, and we're going to be using a post call. Post. All right. And what we're also going to be doing, oops, bring this over here. And what we're going to be doing here is also including the secure image file, which basically is the CAPTCHA program. The CAPTCHA, it's not really a program, it's CAPTCHA application. There we go. And so we're going to be including the emconfig.php, which includes our username and password, which is this variable here and this variable here. And then everything else here should look pretty similar. We're going to be, well, we can change the name to fit our email addresses, but that's not really that important right now. And all of this is covered in another tutorial, so I don't want to go over this too much. But basically, once the post variable is hit here, it's going to check to see that the CAPTCHA code matches. If it's false, it's going to tell you that the security code you entered was incorrect. Please go back. A little JavaScript to bounce it back one page. Else here, and we grab everything. Grab the data, create our body, create the transport, create the mailer, and then send it. All right, and then we'll have the return to index once we're done. All right, and so the contact form is, to get it basically to the point that I'm happy with it, is going to take a little bit of toying. So I kind of will lay out a couple of things right now, and we'll just kind of, we'll just kind of see where we are, and you know, we'll see where it goes. If I like it right away, that'll be great. I got a feeling I won't. Anyways, so we're going to have the form role as well on the form. All right. So we've got, and if you also, I've got another series of videos on Bootstrap, and so we've got some new form classes. All right, and the form group is going to go to, I believe the form group is set at a full 100% spacing. All right, and so what we're going to do here, I've forgotten about this, but we're going to encase these in a row. And get my indenting correct. And so I think how I want to lay this out is a column of information on the right. No. See, this is what happens. All right. Trying to do this on the fly, otherwise I would just kind of keep toying around. But what I'm going to do now, I guess, is we'll just go for 2 columns. All right. And so we'll do a div class equals col-md-8 on the left side. And that's where the form will be. next to that, we're going to go class equals call-md-4. Oops. And this will be our column data. All right. And so what we're going to put over here is maybe actually let's do this 9 and 3. You know, maybe an address block. Actually, an address block sounds pretty good. And I know we already have one already labeled on the front. On the index page, oh, it's in the header, I'm sorry. Header. All right. And so now we'll take a look at our form group. We'll do a label and an input for each one. And this is going to be pretty simple. We're not going to do a whole lot. Name. Type equals text. Class equals form control. D equals name. Placeholder. Enter name. Okay. And so we will enter those, and we'll make some changes here. And this is going to be email. Email. Actually, I should just copy it. All right, and then the last one is going to be, actually we're not going to do an input, we're going to do a text area. And this will be message. All right, and we'll save that out, take a look at it, and cross our fingers. Well, did what I expected. However, I don't like it. And we're having trouble with our JavaScript here. Let's see if we have it on the about. That's weird. Maybe the Twitter API isn't functioning. All right, so in this column over here, I'm going to add maybe an H2. Save that out, see what we look. Yeah, I don't like it. However, I could do 8 and 4. And that's what a lot of this is, sadly, is just kind of toying with things the way that, to make them look the way you want. I like that. Maybe a Google map. Oops. Maps. Oh, there we go. Charleston, South Carolina. And we have a new Google Maps API, and they've changed everything around. So great. All right. Are we not able to hyperlink? There we go. Share in embed. Embed map. All right. We'll copy that. And let's see. Why don't we make it small? There's an idea. All right. So we'll change that to a 4. And I don't think it really matters, but I've always used double quotes for a class in HTML. All right. And we'll save it out. That's going to give me a width of 600, which is going to be way too big. But we can toy with it and kind of see. Tell you what I do like. That's not a bad size, actually. So, and I kind of like that. All right, that works. So what we're going to do is we will do this a 4. This will be an 8. Then we're going to take this whole block, cut it out for now, refresh. Excellent. And so we need a submit button as well under the form. And I never remember those class names, so we may actually go have to take another look at that. Value equals submit. All right. And so let's stretch out our map a little bit. Go to 700. Wow, excuse me. There we go. Yeah, I like that. All right. Now we'll take our outside the form. Oops, we don't want the div code. Because we want that still within the, we want it underneath here. And so that should pop up under there. There we go. Nice. Now I could take this over another 100 pixels. I guess that's not a bad idea. So instead of 700, whoops, we will go 800. Save that out. Refresh. Ooh, too much. Excuse me. So let's find out exactly what will bring it over. Well, we had 700 before, and that was fine. About 740. Oh, looks like the inspector is not letting us change that on the fly. And we'll do this the old-fashioned way. All right, not quite. 760, 770. At this point, we're just guessing. And we should be fluid inside that row, so it should shrink us back down. All right, and 760. We just don't want to go outside the, there we go. We're lined up on that row. Perfect. Pretty good looking contact page, I gotta say. All right, and so now we just have to make sure that we're looking at apples and apples here. All right, so the email file is looking for name email message. And we don't have a name. Equals name. Name equals email. Name equals message, all right? And now we need to also grab the we'll put that, I guess, right underneath. And I'll put the input type with the text to also get another image. We'll save that out, take a look at it. Oops. Oh, we're going to have trouble with that session because we're already starting a session with the user login. All right, so I'm going to have to go back and take a look at Secure Image and figure out how to actually grab the session data for that to work. All right, The one thing though, the image still should show up, and I'm not sure why that's not. Make sure we've got it. Yep, it's in the right folder. Not sure if that 2 is supposed to be in there. I think that may have gotten copied. No. Still not working. All right. Well, I'll have to figure that out later on. So we'll just take we'll call it a video here. Contact page is looking good. I kind of like the way this is laid out, actually. I'm going to make that map a little taller, match it up with the contact us by mail part. And yeah, that'll be that. And I'll figure out the session and I'll let you guys know what I did to change it. So thanks for watching. Subscribe and leave a comment below.